Hi, this is Jack, and I'm communicating about yawning. Now, many human beings yawn. You know, in moments, just quickly. You yawn. So what is a yawn? A yawn is an indication that your mind is shutting down. So when you yawn, the mind shuts down to not have you get access to a realization of yourself in a specific moment. So for instance, there have been quite often times, including myself and many dimensional beings, when we come through and communicate to Eagle, and he would specifically direct us in terms of support in our specific applications. And then as he'd speak, we just suddenly start yawning. Because in that moment, not that we have a mind, but from our perspective, in that moment, we don't want to hear what he's saying, and thus we just shut down, and we don't integrate the knowledge and information he's sharing with us, so we can place the knowledge and information into application to support ourselves with. And instead we yawn, and then it kind of erases from within and as who we are. So a yawn is a mind erasion. In other words, when you yawn, the mind erases a specific moment where you're supposed to realize something or actually see something that will assist and support you in your application. So be aware when you yawn. Go back. In the moment you yawn, stop. Then you have to go back and see, what were you looking at? What is that thought you were looking at? Because your mind, or you as the mind, doesn't want you to see that, because if you were to see that, you would correct the application and actually stand up and not give the mind any power or control. So be aware of when you yawn, or when you hear words spoken and you start yawning. You know, when you're in a conversation, you just want to start yawning. That's when your mind wants to shut down and not hear what the human beings are saying, because if you actually start hearing what they're saying, it may assist and support you in your application, in your process. And when you yawn, immediately pray forgiveness. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to be aware in that moment, and therefore I yawned. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to shut down. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to hear. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to, in that moment, suppress me instead of being aware and standing up in seeing where I was in that moment. Instead of doing that, I yawned. So yawning is suppression, is a shutting down, is a standing back, and that goes the same with like a lethargy experience. When you're around human beings, you start getting tired. You feel you start going back. Immediately when that comes, stand up and say, no, do not accept this. You breathe, you let out, and you say, I'm here, immediately. Because that tiredness that occurs and that yawn wanting to come is the mind, you going deeper and deeper into the mind, shutting down, going back, suppressing. It's like a mind retreating mechanism instead of a standing forth, giving direction to yourself. So be aware when you yawn. Know that when you yawn, you have to immediately stop. You have to look back and see, what were you thinking, what were you looking at, who were you with, what words were spoken by the beings before the yawn occurred, and see where it relates to you in your process, in your application in this very moment, and then correct it immediately. Because remember, in that yawn, what happens if you don't immediately go back, that moment is completely suppressed in the entirety of your being, and it actually integrates. And therefore, it will start becoming a habit which you live, and then you won't notice it until it actually manifests as an experience for you to see it, and then correct it. So rather, instead of going through an experience, correct it in the moment, immediately. Do everything immediately, human beings. Don't wait. Otherwise, you're going to have to experience certain experience because you've manifested it as yourself, because you've accepted it as yourself, and that you'll manifest it as an experience of yourself. And then only correct it accordingly after certain events first have to occur and manifest before you see it, because it's become so part of you that you don't see it. So see yourself in every moment. Be aware in every moment. So when you yawn, immediately stop, immediately look. Where is that coming from? Why did I yawn? What was I looking at? What words were spoken? With who was I? Why did I allow myself to go into that and backwards roll into the mind? So it takes discipline, human beings, discipline. In every moment, when you notice that there's something of you that's not feeling cool, you start feeling uncomfortable in your own human physical body, in that moment just breathe in, stand, and it's done. Another suggestion in terms of assisting you with being here is your fingertips and your toes. You feel it in your hands when you touch anything or anyone. Are you here? Are you here? You feel it in your touch. You experience it in your touch. On your fingertips, every time you touch them, are your hands droopy? Are you here? It feels like little points there, right on your fingertips. You experience it. You just sit still and experience it. You'll experience it. So on your fingers and your toes, in every moment of awareness, you stand here as the entirety of your being, and you'll experience it on your toes, tips, and on your fingertips. And then be aware every time you touch. Be aware that your touch is here. You're not anywhere else, but just here with a touch. Yourself. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Some assistance models. Thank you very much. This is Jack.